Once upon a time, in a beautiful forest by the sea, there lived an osprey named Oliver and a Sika Deer named Samantha. Oliver was a sleek and graceful bird of prey, with piercing eyes and strong wings. Samantha was a delicate and graceful deer, with big brown eyes and a shiny coat of fur. At first, Oliver and Samantha did not like each other very much. Oliver was always swooping down from the sky to catch fish in the river, while Samantha was content to graze on the grassy banks. Oliver thought that Samantha was a pesky little creature that always got in his way, and Samantha thought that Oliver was a rude and arrogant bird. But one day, something happened that changed their relationship forever. Oliver was flying high above the forest, scouting for food, when he saw a group of hunters approaching. They were armed with guns and were sneaking up on a group of deer, including Samantha. Oliver knew that he had to act fast, or else the hunters would kill the innocent animals. Without hesitation, Oliver flew down towards the hunters and began to attack them. He pecked and clawed at them with all his might, until the hunters fled in terror. Samantha and the other deer were so grateful to Oliver for saving their lives that they decided to be friends with him. From that day on, Oliver and Samantha became the best of friends. They roamed the forest together, exploring every nook and cranny and discovering all kinds of amazing things. Oliver taught Samantha how to fly, and Samantha taught Oliver how to dance. They laughed and played and had the most wonderful time. But their friendship was not always easy. There were many challenges and obstacles that they had to overcome together. For example, one winter, the forest was hit by a terrible storm. The winds were so strong that they knocked down many of the trees, and the rain was so heavy that it flooded the rivers. Oliver and Samantha were separated during the storm, and they were both terrified that they would never see each other again. But they did not give up hope. Oliver flew high into the sky, searching for Samantha and calling out her name. And Samantha ran through the forest, leaping over fallen trees and splashing through puddles, trying to find Oliver. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, they found each other. They hugged and cried and promised never to be apart again. As the years went by, Oliver and Samantha grew old and gray, but their friendship only grew stronger. They spent their days basking in the sun, watching the sunsets, and telling each other stories. And when it was time for them to go to sleep, they cuddled up together and drifted off into a peaceful slumber. One night, as they were snuggled up in their cozy nest, Oliver and Samantha heard a strange noise. It was a faint, faraway sound, but it was growing louder and louder. They looked at each other in alarm, wondering what it could be. Suddenly, the noise became a loud, deafening roar. It was the sound of a wildfire, racing through the forest at an alarming speed. Oliver and Samantha knew that they had to flee, or else they would be burned alive. They gathered their belongings and ran for their lives, dodging flames and leaping over logs. They ran and ran, until they reached the safety of the beach. There, they collapsed, panting and exhausted, but alive. As the sun rose over the sea, Oliver and Samantha looked back at the smoldering remains of the forest. It was a sad and heartbreaking sight, but they were grateful to be alive. They decided to build a new home on the beach, where they could live in peace and safety. Oliver used his strong beak to gather sticks and branches, while Samantha used her nimble hoofs to dig a cozy den in the sand. Together, they built a beautiful little house, with a roof of leaves and a floor of soft grass. From then on, Oliver and Samantha lived happily on the beach, enjoying the simple pleasures of life. They fished in the sea, played in the waves, and watched the sunset every evening. They told each other stories and sang songs, and never once did they argue or fight. As the years went by, Oliver and Samantha grew old and gray, but their friendship never faded. They were always there for each other, through thick and thin, good times and bad. And when it was time for them to go to sleep, they cuddled up together and drifted off into a peaceful slumber, knowing that they had each other to love and protect. And so, Oliver the Osprey and Samantha the Sika Deer lived happily ever after, always treasuring the special bond that they shared. The end.